that said, it's now time for another speaker, and she's going to talk all about humanity's goals for the future and today. How can we all use the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals? And Róza is an environmental politics and circular economy advocate, student and green influencer, which I find so cool. And she actually does her makeup in order to keep Gen Z occupied and entertained while talking about the most important topics to do with the environment. So can we do a standing ovation for Róza, please?
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Today, I'll be presenting to you a to-do list. I believe you're all familiar with the concept of the to-do list, except this one is a bit more specific. It is a global to-do list. It applies to everyone in the world, to every single government, state, business, and individual. And even the tasks on the to-do list are a bit more elaborate and a bit specific. I am talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals are a set of goals that all of the nations in the world agreed upon in the United Nations. And these goals are supposed to bring prosperity and peace in the entire world by the year 2030. Let's look at the history. This is not the first time that the international society came up with a set of goals. Actually, in the year 2000, all of the member states of the United Nations came together and created the Millennium Development Goals. These were 8 goals that were supposed to bring prosperity and progress in the world, and were supposed to shape the first 15 years of the 21st century. After a few years, it was clear that, unfortunately, none of those goals are going to be met. But there were quite some successes. We, as a society, managed to have the population that lives in extreme poverty by half. But it was clear that we are not meeting all of the goals, all of the targets. Therefore, in 2015, the United Nations met again to create new goals, the so-called Sustainable Development Goals. And these goals are supposed to, as mentioned earlier, are supposed to be met by the year 2030, when they are supposed to be evaluated, and together we should see a brighter future. These are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. All of the development goals are supposed to bring, again, peace and prosperity, and stand on 3 pillars. So not only are we trying to achieve economic growth, but also social progress and environmental protection. And all of these 3 pillars are supposed to be met by achieving these 17 goals. And there's a lot of them, from mitigating poverty to achieving gender equality, from ensuring clean water and access to clean water to everyone, to quality education. There's a lot of topics that this is covering. And to be able to monitor them and report them, these are worked upon, and there are 169 specific targets that belong to each and every single Sustainable Development Goal. To give you an example of what this target may look like, I would like you to take a moment and try to think about what percentage of children worldwide are enrolled in primary education. What is your guess? Try to be as specific as possible. Try to just come up with an idea. I'll give you a moment. And it is actually 87%. The enrollment rate in the year 2021 is 87% of the entire population of children worldwide are enrolled in primary education. And this is linked directly to the target 4.1 that is supposed to ensure quality and free education to all by the year 2030. Another example, I will also give you a moment to think about this. How much of the world's electricity do you think is generated from renewable resources? So I'll again give you a moment. And the answer is approximately 29% in the year 2020. And this is also linked to another target as part of a sustainable development goal, 7.2, which is to increase the share of renewable energies in the global energy mix. So again, these are all of the targets that together should bring us to a future full of peace and prosperity. And now it is also very important to say that there are multiple actors and multiple players who will play a role in shaping the future. So first of all, we have governments. Governments agreed on these sustainable development goals, and governments can create guidelines, frameworks, laws that are supposed to ensure that these goals are met. For example, a government can invest into renewable energies. A government can create a law that will ensure quality education. Then we have businesses. Businesses also play a crucial role, especially in the field of technology, innovation, and investing. And that's what we've heard about from the amazing speakers before me. So businesses play an important role as well. And then individuals. Let's not forget about individuals. We are not just individual beings that are on individual islands, but we are all in a society that interacts with one another. And these individual actors would not work without cooperation. There would be no good government without people, without individuals who would vote for a government that wants a better future, a democratic future, a future that is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. And also we need businesses that would support the innovations, by innovation support the laws of the government. So all of these three actors together have to work and cooperate in order for us to get to a brighter future. So how are we doing now? As of 2023, we are now in the middle of achieving all of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We should be at 50%, but unfortunately, the reality is not as bright. Only 15% of the targets are on track, with 48% being moderately or severely off track, and then 37% being in stagnation or regression. So unfortunately, we are not meeting the targets just yet. There's another chart over here that shows us which of these goals are receiving the biggest recognition and biggest success. So we see that that's the goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production, and then number 14 and 9, which are life below water and industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Now let's look at the countries. Obviously, the top 10 countries that are meeting the targets are the European countries, with the Czech Republic actually being in the top 10. We see that it's mostly the countries of the global north. The worst 10 countries are, of course, the countries in the Sahel region, usually in Africa, like Mali, Niger, Chad, Somalia, and countries that are located in the global north. Last but not least, I would like to draw your attention to Sustainable Development Goal number 17, which is Partnership for the Goal. If I go back and if we take a look at these Sustainable Development Goals, if you try to think about what is the goal that aligns with you the most, that you want to do something about, that you want to help achieve, it is very difficult to choose one. When I was 5 years old, my English teacher was showing us videos, and one of the videos was about how the earth is being polluted by plastics and CO2 emissions and greenhouse gases, and how we're all going to die and the world will end, a very apocalyptic video. And in that moment, I saw a perspective where there was a green leaf saying, we can either stay the way we are or we can go green. And I remember I was 5 years old and I was looking at the screen and I was like, we need to go green. The whole world needs to go green. I need to make that happen. So ever since, it's been my life journey and mission to achieve this. So I started with recycling, picking up trash. Then I started my influencer journey. Then I started emailing parliamentary representatives. I went to Brussels, I went to the European Union, I talked to ministers, and I tried to advocate for a greener and brighter future. So with that, it is important to say that even though my goal is focused on the environmental protection, that doesn't mean that I don't care about gender equality or mitigating poverty, not at all. all of these goals are interconnected and one cannot work without the other. So we need collective action. We need a united effort to get where the world should be by the year 2030. We all need to work on our projects, and we all need to put our effort into growing and building this future together. And with that, I'd like to thank you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.